This is sort of a by request video, but you know, it's a subject I probably would have dealt with eventually. I guess I've dealt with it in little pieces here and there, but you know, it's cops, the whole concept. Yeah, I really don't like cops, and it's a lot of it's personal, just personal experience, you know. I always had long hair. I was always a bit of a rebel, and although I've never been formally arrested, like, you know, handcuffs and such, yeah, I mean, I was arrested when I was a kid a couple times as a juvenile, but it's you know, my interactions with police forces has never been very productive. It's and part of it's just a personality thing. I think it comes down to in a lot of ways, because I don't think police officers are professionals. I think they are they're individuals, and they're individuals of a certain psychological demeanor. I mean, it's like people who volunteer for the military. You got to have a certain mindset to say to yourself, yeah, this is what I'm going to do on purpose, is shoot people. And cops is the same way. You know, you're getting paid to enforce the law, but I think going in, you know enough to know, and certainly you're going to learn pretty quick, that you're not going to be enforcing this law evenly or fairly, and I guess it's that sort of basic innate corruption that just irritates me. And then, you know, it's all the little things. I mean, these are, you know, they're you know, a lot of cops are just thugs. They're just people who want to exercise power, who have a lot of, you know, psychological issues, whatever you want to call it, and you know, they get off on this power trip, you know, the gun, the uniform, the whole, you know, persona of being somebody. It's you know, an instant way to be somebody. You don't have to go to Harvard. You just, you know, go to cop school, and all of a sudden you're somebody. You know, you're somebody who's going to get respect, and you don't care that it's not respect you necessarily earn. And that's part of it too, is, you know, who'd want that? So, I mean, I guess if I could believe that cops were just good people trying to help people, fine. But like I said, I mean, I won't go into the details of the personal stuff, but I mean, I've seen the duplicity. You know, one guy gets arrested, another guy doesn't get arrested, has to do with who their family is, that kind of crap. And then you know, I have personal knowledge of cops guilty of vice crimes, you know, real crimes, crimes against women, real crimes. And yeah, there's no way to prosecute these bastards because the rest of the cops will protect them. And it's that gang mentality that really pisses me off. You know, I know other cases where, you know, they've caused traffic accidents, been drunk, and they got away with it because no blood test was performed. The same standards that everybody else is susceptible to, there doesn't apply to a cop. And it's just bullshit. And I guess that's, you know, like I said, maybe if they didn't have a union, and maybe if they didn't play these games, it's like, you know, I've got to bunch them all into one pile because they slandered themselves by the fact that the good cops don't do shit to stop the bad cops. I mean, there might be one whistleblower every 10 years or something, but they don't do shit. And so you know, that makes them vulnerable, in my opinion, to being, yeah, yours. I mean, you can't be a good guy in a bad thing, doing, you know, and when you're defending or justifying or facilitating something, you know, that's wrong. I mean, just, you can't play both sides of the street, and they do it. And so I know there's cops out there who have no malicious intent, but the very fact that they're part of an organization that the end product of which is unfair or biased or bigoted or racist or whatever, you can go right down the list. And it's it's just the little things. I mean, I remember once I had a neighbor, he was in trouble with some drugs. They were searching his house because he gave him permission to search part of his house. He shared the house with another roommate. And it's like, I did simple thing, like I asked the cops, well, where's your warrant? Because they were searching beyond his half of the house. They weren't searching just his bedroom, they were searching the whole house, and they were searching the property where other houses are, on the property. And so it's almost like, because somebody gave you permission to search one apartment in an apartment building, the cops think they have the right to search the whole apartment building. Obviously they wouldn't. And so I just asked the cop to produce a warrant, for the searching they were doing. And, he's threatening me he's going to arrest me, interfering in his investigation. And it was just like, well, fuck this bullshit. So I actually had to call the cops here to come to protect me from these these out-of-town cops searching this house. And that was to me like another perfect illustration of just how out of control these people can get. And so look, this all come up with the context of this tasering of the whatever he was, the attention seeker. And like I said, and that's just, to me, that's a really poor example. It's a poor poster child for police misconduct, because that guy was asking for it. I mean, he wanted to make a scene, and so, yeah, they made a scene, and so cops did what cops do, which is pile on and do all the rest of this stuff that doesn't look too good. But I just don't, I can't, it seems to me a cheat almost for me to use that as an excuse to pile up on cops, because there's too many real crimes they commit to be piling up on them because of some asshole who, like I said, isn't a very good poster child. Because I mean, there's enough innocent victims out there. You don't need to pick these ones that are have deceptive motives. I mean, to me, this guy at this event was just a spammer. He was just somebody who decided they're going to take advantage of a circumstance and impose themselves. And so, yeah, I just can't have any empathy for that. I just can't. And so anyway, it's that whole another part thing with cops is that I sort of figure that bad laws, if there's nobody willing to enforce a bad law, then it's not gonna be a law anymore. It's almost like having a bad war. Well, if none of these damn soldiers would show up for work, there wouldn't be no fucking war. And so there's people who are going to be adamant that you can't hold anybody responsible. It's not the soldiers' fault that the war sucks. But sorry, I mean, I can't. And they weren't drafted. It wasn't Vietnam. I mean, they were there by choice. And that's a big difference. A big fucking difference between a federal government pointing a gun at you and saying you're going to go over there and shoot people, and doing it on your own volition, willfully, for a paycheck, or an education, or whatever the exchange you've decided to make is for whatever compensation you're getting for your service. And I say, hell yeah, you can hold them responsible. Fuck the goddamn soldiers. Fuck them. Fuck all of them. They know they're in a shitty war, and it's bullshit. They shouldn't be there, and it's bullshit. And so I say, fuck them. I don't have any empathy for them, because to contrive the nonsense that they're serving the United States of America is just bullshit. They're serving a lunatic administration, of people. They're serving a political party, really, when it comes down to it, at best. That's the best excuse you could make, is that, okay, well, the Republicans are in power and they decide to have this fucking Christian war, and well, that's as far as you can go with it. And it's like I said, and it's the same thing with cops. I mean, they're hired for a purpose by people who have less than pure intentions, and who are, like I said, it's not, principle doesn't rule, and so as long as the principle isn't ruling, you know. And then the other thing with cops, and you know, you see this all the time. One of them gets shot or something happens, and it's like 9 million cops show up, and the funerals are the biggest funerals on earth, and it's all this shit, and you're saying, well, Jesus Christ, people could die in a coal mine and they get shit. But we get all this fucking attention, you know, because they're a cop doing what they're supposed to be doing. And half the time they don't even get killed on the line of duty. They get killed because they had a fight with somebody at McDonald's or something. I mean, it's just, well, anyway, I don't like cops. Bottom line, don't like them.